right, guys, here we go. It's year 7 of the Gridiron 7-on-7 League here in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is your Gridiron Report. I'm Tone Colston. Once a week, we're going to get together and talk about everything that went down. Who won, who lost, who threw all the touchdowns, who caught them. So if you're new to the Gridiron Report and the Gridiron 7-on-7 League this season, I'm going to go over a couple things that we do during the year that just makes this thing fun, helps it grow, and keeps people in tune throughout the week. One of the first things is our age divisions. We've got 4 age divisions this year. We go by grade, not age. So our youth division is 4th and 5th grade. This is the first year we've had that division. The past couple of weeks we have some really good fun videos and highlights, watching these little guys do their thing. But, our JV division, our 6th and 7th graders. Our varsity division is our 8th and 9th. And then our high school division, of course, is 9th through 12th. One of the really fun things that we do weekly, we've done this since the beginning of this thing. It's kind of part of the real concept of how we can build this thing and get people involved. Is we decided do we do stats and standings? Each week we keep up with all the touchdowns thrown, all the touchdowns caught, and all the interceptions made by the defense. So that makes for fun. We keep a league standings. We keep a weekly standings. We give out Player of the Week awards for top gunslinger of the week, top go-getter of the week, and top ball hawk of the week. We've even got stats from all 7, the 6 previous years. So we've got leaders from all those years, and we'll talk about that a little bit throughout the season when we talk about some of those old guys. But, we do live feeds down at the high school, generally whichever high school we're at. The main field's our live feed field. 2 games going at one time. We keep that live. Richard, is one of my guys from William Blunt. He's been doing our video stuff for years, since we started doing it, really, and has created a really good live feed box, TV type copy, for your parents that are out of town and that sort of thing that just can't see it or can't even make it to the games those days. We also try to do a little weekly highlight. I've got a couple videographers in the city that do this type of thing, so I got a couple guys that come in and they'll take some weekly highlights. Now, here's the deal. We'll show some of these highlights here and there. We'll share them on social media. If your team doesn't make the weekly highlight, don't get mad. It's hard to set that stuff up, but I can tell you, I don't pay him and tell him to get each and every guy. Just say, hey, for your time here, boom, get as many highlights as you can. Now, one thing I can do, because there's a bunch of local guys here and even my guy, if you need to, I can reach out and say, hey, reach out to them and see if they'll come and they'll record your 3 games. They'll follow your team around for the day, and they'll make you a weekly highlight tape for your team. So there's enough videographers around here that do these type of things that I'm sure we can set you up. Other than that, we're in week 2. I'm a week late, but we're in week 2 right now. So week 1's went through. We finished week 2. We're going into week 3. So I'm really going to talk about a couple things from weeks 1 and 2. We'll have our standings and all that stuff. So let's get it started. We're going to start with the high school guys. We switched it up over the past few years, so we're going to start with the high school guys first and work through our youth guys. So let's look into it, get to know our teams, and check out the standings for going into week 3. All right, so going into week 3, let's take a look at the teams in the high school division. We've got 15 teams in the high school division this year, so we've broken them up again in 2 divisions. We've got the Gunslinger division and the Gridiron division. Let's talk about the teams in the Gunslinger division first. We got Asheville Extreme. They're from Asheville, North Carolina. They played in the Tri-Cities division last year and decided to bypass those guys and come on down here to Knoxville for this year and have some fun with us. We got the Orange Crush, which is William Blunt. I think this is their 2nd or 3rd year playing with us, 2nd year consecutive. We got Seymour. They've played with us every year for the past 4 or 5 years, so we're glad to have those guys back in the league. You got Goon Squad, which is coached by Antonio Hamilton, kind of a travel type team. They've played with us since year 2 or 3. One of our core teams. They've got 4 or 5 teams in the league this year, so their program's growing. We've got the Clinton Dragons, which is where we're playing at. So it's always good to have those guys in the league since I'm from there. So it kind of always adds a little fun to it. We've got Kingston. One of my quarterback clients got his team together, so I'm glad to see Kingston out there. And then we've got Team Truth, which is a team from the Cookeville area. That's our Gunslinger division. Let's take a look at our Gridiron division really quick. We got the UC Cyclones, which stands for the Upper Cumberland Cyclones. Those guys are from, kind of the Crossville area with a mixture of kids from that area. You got the Cherokees, which is South Doyle. We've got Loudon. We got the Immortals, which come from kind of like Kentucky, Virginia area. They played up in the Tri-Cities division with us last year and decided to come down to Knoxville to get a little more competition this year. So, we got the Rising Stars, which you guys know they've been with us since the beginning also, with Jabari Davis, his travel team. They'll play a few weeks with us throughout the season. We got the Wolfpack, Terry Matthews, Chattanooga travel team that comes up and plays a few weeks with us. We got Austin East. We've got Team 407, which is Northview Academy. So let's get into it real quick. Let's look at the stats, the standings, see who's leading, who's sitting at the bottom right now, and where we're headed going into week 3. So going into week 3, we've got Asheville Extreme sitting at the top of the Gunslinger division at 5-1. We've got the Orange Crush sitting at 3-2. We got Seymour at 2-3, and then we got a handful of teams with 1 victory. We got Goon Squad, Clinton, Kingston, and Truth. Week 3, everybody's kind of figuring it out. I'm curious to see, everybody's kind of played a little bit of everybody in their division, so we're switching it up to the other division. So let's see how they match up. In the Gridiron division, we've got a, really close deal going in the first 4 teams right now, and even through the whole division, through the bottom. We got the UC Cyclones, the Cherokees, and Loudon all sitting at 3-2. You got the Immortals at 3-3. You got the Rising Stars. They brought 2 teams in. Both those teams went 2-0. You got the Wolfpack sitting at 2-1, Austin East at 1-1, and 407 at 0-5. So, going into this week, it should shake everything up a little bit. Let teams from the other divisions kind of see who's who, and kind of go from there. Moving on into the league leaders after week 2. We're going to take a look at the quarterbacks first. We got some gunslingers in the group. I hadn't seen everybody over the past 2 weeks yet, but hopefully after this week, I've seen everybody at least once. But we got a good race at the top. We got some guys in the middle, and then some other guys that I don't think they've got all their stats in, to be honest with you, but we're pretty close to it. So, we got Asheville Extreme. You got Caden Engel, the big lefty, sitting with 17 touchdowns. You got the Upper Cumberland Cyclones, Noah Potter with 16, sitting at second place. Tied at third, we got J.J. Reynolds from the Immortals. We got Bronson Scrivener from Loudon with 12 touchdowns. Brinson Brangs right there with 11 touchdowns from South Dual. You got Braden Rivers from Kingston with 9. You got Jackson Dabrowski with the Orange Crush with 8 touchdowns. And you got Jalen Benjamin with the Goon Squad at 7. This is going to be exciting. We're 2 weeks in. I look forward to seeing where we're at, 5-6 weeks in going into the playoffs. But that's where we're at after week 2. Let's take a look. Go ahead and move into our receiving leaders, see what they look like. We've got, a pretty good mix. We got a lot of guys that have caught touchdowns, and we'll talk about that for each and every age group. But right now, looking at it, receiving leaders, we got Xavier Deals from Loudon with 6 touchdowns, leading the pack. You got a couple guys, Aiden Telfer with Orange Crush and Lawson Reynolds from Nashville Extreme with 5. Then you got 2 more guys, Trey Lane and Gabe Freeman with 4 touchdowns. Antoine Humphrey, Michael Petty, and Gavin Johnson sitting there tied at 3. We got 15 players right there tied at 2, and probably another 10 to 12 players tied at 1. So, we've had a ton of guys score so far. Probably about 30 guys have scored touchdowns in 2 weeks. So that's always the fun part of the 7-on-7 stuff, is guys getting experience, getting reps, and just having fun. So let's move into the defensive leaders, see where we're at. Thank goodness, me being a quarterback guy, I'm glad we don't have a whole bunch of these, but we've got a few. Kingston's Hayden Hurley. We'll talk about him here in a few. He's got 4 interceptions leading the pack. We've got a tie at 2 with Sawyer Cromer, Amarion Smith, Xavier Deals, and Wiley Bingham sitting there with 2 interceptions. And then we've got 13 other players tied with 1. So, the stats have been, guys have been scoring, defense have been playing. We're going to add that pressure guy in here in a week or so. So that's going to change the game a little bit. But so far, in the high school division, we got some good competition, and everybody looks to be having fun. Everybody's playing the game the way we ask them to play it. So, what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at some of the high school division highlights to finish this up, and then we'll move into the varsity division.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cross. Oh, God. Yeah.
There it is. Good shot.
Get in there.
Going big.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh. Be easy.
Matt. Get up, Matt. Yes, that's in. That's in.
Money, good shot.
Thank you.
Whole shot.
There it is. There it is.
Oh shit. Easy money right there. Easy money. Uh-oh, keep going.
There we go, Law. Yes, sir.
Oh, there it is.
Good read. Good read. Right there. Good. Go, go. Get up. Get in there. Go. Ooh, Matt.
Oh my goodness, great play. Ball game. Good timing.
1, 2.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Oh man. Oh.
Cross, cross. No, no, no.
Ooh.
Yes, yes, sir.
Oh no. Oh.
There you go.
All right, so we had some good highlights. Some guys made some big plays. One guy caught me off guard. I wasn't able to edit that out of there, but excuse me. But other than that, let's get into the player of the week, guys. See who led everybody in all their touchdowns and catches and interceptions and all that good stuff. We're behind a week, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to cover week 1. Don't want to punish the guys that got their stats in last week. Half the guys did, half the guys didn't. But for the guys that did, in week 1, we've got Asheville Extremes quarterback Caden Ingle, gunslinger of the week, 10 touchdowns. Had a big first week. Made the trip worthwhile, I guess you could say. They got after it and had some fun. He had a great year last year as one of the big-time quarterbacks in the Tri-Cities division. I think was one of the top freshmen in the Upper East Tennessee area this past year. So, Caden Eagle. I know more about Caden because he's a lefty, and I was able to keep up with him last year a little bit. So I'll get to know a little bit more about these other guys as we go. But, Gunslinger of the Week, week 1, Caden Eagle, Asheville Extreme. We go to our Go-Getter of the Week. We've got Xavier Deals from Loudon. He had 4 touchdowns, led the league for week 1 in touchdowns caught with Loudon. So congratulations, Go-Getter of the Week, Xavier Deals, week 1. When it comes to defensive backs, player of the week, week 1, we had a bunch of ties, I think at 2. We had 3 or 4 guys at 2. And so, unless you really stand out, we don't give it out. So, defensive player of the week, ball hawk of the week, we don't have one for week 1. Now we get to week 2. Everybody evened it up. Everybody's got 3 games in week 2. Had some real fun with it. We got our top 2 quarterbacks sitting there at 1 and 2 at 17 and 16 on the touchdowns. And so the guy sitting at second place, Noah Potter, with the Upper Cumberland Cyclones, is gunslinger of the week for week 2 with 11 touchdowns. Got those guys rolling for week 2. It's their first year in the league, first year program, so they've got quite a few guys from the Upper Cumberland area traveling down here to Knoxville to have some fun with it. So, congratulations, week 2, gunslinger of the week, Noah Potter from the Upper Cumberland Cyclones. When it comes to Go-Getter of the week, we got another new name, the Orange Crush, Aiden Telfer, another 4 touchdown weekend from him. So week 2, Aiden Telfer, Orange Crush, Go-Getter of the week. We had a really big weekend in the secondary, though. It's one of those, maybe one of our records, I guess, if you could say. We keep up with all that stuff as we go. But week 2, we had Kingston's Hayden Hurley, 4 interceptions. He got after it. Kingston had a pretty good weekend, to be honest with you, and a lot of it had to do with their defense, helping them get started. So, week 2, players of the week. Congratulations. We're about to get into it. Week 3 of the season, to kind of get into it. Everybody's kind of rolling and flowing now, so I think everybody knows the expectations. So I guess, we're in the Gridiron Report. Let's go ahead and move on to the next division. We'll go down to our varsity division, which is our 8th and 9th grade guys. Let's check it out. Let's see some of their highlights first, and then we'll get into their stats and standings. Good shot. Good toss. That's a pretty good throw. Good job. Throw it to him. Good catch. Play. Good. So over the past few weeks, we've had some big wins, some big losses. We're looking at our league standings right now. We've got 10 teams in the standings. We're going to start from top to bottom and introduce the teams and talk about where they're at. The first team in the standings right now, sitting at 4-1, is Marble City. That's a group of West high school freshmen. Their first season in the league. Sitting at the top of the pack right there at 4-1. Then you got second place right now at 3-0. You got the Wolf Pack, which is from Chattanooga. We talked about them in the high school division. They've got a couple different teams that are playing with us this season, in and out throughout the weeks. We got the Underdogs, which is a Maryville group. They won the JV division, I believe, last season. They're 3-2 right now, tied with the Orange Crush, which is our William Blunt team. They've got 2 teams in the league this year. They had 1 team last year and enjoyed it quite a bit, so they've got their second team in the league. They're sitting at 3-2 right now. We got a Goon Squad team sitting at 2-1. We got the Carter Swarm. This is one of our first years having a Carter team part of the league, so it's good to have those guys this year. They're sitting there at 2-3 right now. Of course, the Rising Stars had another team sitting in the varsity division. They're 1-1 from week 1. We got the Blood Diamonds, which is an Austin East varsity team, 8th and 9th graders. They're sitting at 1-4 right now. We've got Prime Time, which is a Grace Christian / few other guys possibly from a couple other places, but they're sitting at 1-4 also. We also got Seymour sitting at 0-2. They played in the first week. They didn't play in the second week, so hopefully they'll get a couple wins going into week 3. 10 teams. We got some good competition. We got a couple guys sitting at the top right now. There's really 4 teams sitting right there, 3 and 4 wins. And a couple guys in the middle and a couple at the bottom. So, as this thing goes, the fun part about it, definitely with these younger guys, is everybody gets better. And for me, I don't really care who wins or loses, but I do like to see the teams that start off, not doing as well to finish off, a little bit better, throughout the weeks, in weeks 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. See them progress. In this league, everybody plays everybody multiple times. They'll play each other 1 to 2 times throughout the season. So as you play each other later in the season, you played each other early, kind of get to see, your progress or see if the other teams just keep getting better. So, moving on in, let's take a look at our league leaders for our passing guys, passing guys, for our quarterbacks and our gunslingers. Let's check out our league leaders. From top to bottom, we got a good mixture of teams. It doesn't look like anybody's, dominating in the stat board, but when we're looking at the quarterbacks, you got a 3-way tie. To be honest, that's always fun. Make for a quarterback race on this stuff. That's why we keep the stats, just kind of keep it fun. But 3-way tie. We got Fisher Newman from Orange Crush. We got Tyler Sigmund from the Underdogs, and we got Ian Crook from Marble City sitting at 11 touchdowns in first place. We've got Holland Dixon from the Carter Swarm and Primetime's Kel Fleming sitting there with 7 and 6 touchdowns. And then we got Namar Jackson and Maurice Smith sitting at 4 with the Blood Diamonds. The quarterbacks in this age group are always really fun to watch. They're kind of getting to that point where they're turning the corner in their development process if they've been doing any type of training. And, they're starting to see the coverages and starting to figure out how they're going to fit balls in on certain types of throws. And that's why I love the kids throw, playing 7-on-7, at all the age groups is just, it's trial and error. This is the time you get to try it, stick it in there, either you get it, you don't. And then hopefully by the time you get to Friday nights, you prepared yourself a little bit more and have some more experience. But, let's move on down to our receiving leaders. We got one guy sitting at the top right now with the Underdogs, Gavin Robeson. He's got 6 touchdowns, leading the pack. You got a couple guys sitting at second with Jace Boyd from the Orange Crush and Joe Hollenkamp from the Underdogs sitting at 4. Then we got a group right here: Ben Hamilton, Will Rose, DK Towns, and Johnson Stanley sitting at 3 touchdowns. And then we got Drew Campbell, Silas Moore, and JP Peace with 2. We got 14 players tied. So that gives us another 25 guys that have scored touchdowns in the past couple weeks in this varsity division, which is always, like I say, it's a good thing in every division that we get a ton of guys getting that experience of getting in the end zone and having fun with it. We get down here to our defensive leaders. We just really got a four-way tie at first place. You got Gavin Robeson, James Sutton, Jamari Coins, and Nate Boger. I'll get that right, guys. If I have any misspellings on any of these names right now, just know some of these rosters are tough to read. We'll fix them. Text me, let me know. Hit me up on the post whenever we post this stuff, how to spell it, and I'll get everything right. So, but we got those guys sitting at first place, four-way tie, and then we got 9 other players tied with 1 interception. So, that's not a whole lot of interceptions in the first couple weeks with 10 different teams. So, quarterbacks protect the ball. We're about to add that rush to you here soon, so it's going to make it a little bit tougher. But other than that, we've got a good thing going with our varsity division this year. Let's go ahead and move on into the players of the week for weeks 1 and 2 for the varsity division. All right, so moving on into the players of the week for the varsity division. We're going to go with week 1 first. We had the Orange Crushes, Fisher Newman, 6 touchdowns. Gunslinger of the week, congratulations. Week 1, Gunslinger of the week, Fisher Newman from the Orange Crush with 6 touchdowns. When it comes to Ball Hawk of the week in week 1, we had like a 3 or 4-way tie with 2 touchdowns, so we're not going to move anybody into that for week 1, so we won't have a Go-Getter of the week, but we do have a Ball Hawk of the week. Marble City's James Sutton, 2 interceptions on the week, led the whole league. I think we had a couple guys with 1, but nobody else with 2, so James Sutton, Marble City, Ball Hawk of the week for week 1. We're going to get into our week 2 players of the week for the varsity division. Everybody had 3 games. We got a couple guys. We had quite a bit of stats on this one, but with the quarterbacks, we had 1 guy that led the way. This guy's team sitting at 4-1 or 5-1 right now, first place, Marble City. We got Ian Crook, West freshman quarterback, sitting with 7 touchdowns for week 2. So Gunslinger of the week, Ian Crook from Marble City. Congratulations. We got Go-Getter of the week. We got a familiar name. Guy plays multiple positions. Was Gunslinger of the year one time back in, I think, the 12U division, or I guess our JV division. He's playing receiver this year. From the underdogs, Gavin Robeson with 4 touchdowns caught. Led the division, led the league in week 2. Looks like he's leading the league in through 2 weeks, sitting at first place with 6 touchdowns. So he's having a good start to the season. So Gavin Robeson, congratulations, week 2 player of the week, Go-Getter of the week. Getting to our secondary guys, one of the guys that's leading the league, we got Nate Boger. 2 interceptions from the Orange Crush for week 2, led the league. We had a couple guys, like we said, with 1 touchdown. Nobody else had 2. So, in the varsity division, 2 has won it for the past 2 weeks. So hopefully this upcoming week, I've been a quarterback guy. I hope nobody gets 3, but, go get it, set the record, and get after it. So Nate Boger, Ball Hawk of the week for the varsity division, week 2. Moving on through, we got our JV division, our 6th and 7th grade guys. Got a pretty good division in this one. It's looking fun. Let's get into it. Let's go ahead and check out their highlights, and then we'll get into all their stats and standings. All right, so I thought we were going to get into the highlights, but we didn't have any extra highlights really for the JV division. Now on our main highlight video, I think there were quite a few highlights of the JV boys, but I'm working to reach out to some other people and to get some more video people in to where we can get some extra highlights just so you guys can see the boys' ball. But let's go ahead and get into these standings. We've got 6 teams in the JV division this year. Let's go ahead and talk about them. Sitting at first place, we got the Immortals. We talked about their older team, their high school team that they're traveling out of town from, Kentucky, Virginia area. So these guys basically had a varsity team last year in the Tri-Cities division, had a great time. Got their varsity boys moving up this year into high school, so they're playing in the high school division. And then we got their younger JV team wanting to join the league this year and come out and participate. So sitting at 6-0, looks like they're having a pretty good time. The next team we have Prime Time sitting at 3-2. Like I said, that's a Grace Christian school. We got the Code Blue. We finally got a couple of those guys back in this younger division. I think we're gonna have some of their older guys come play with us here in the next few weeks. But we got Code Blue sitting at 2-3. We got the Chattanooga Wolfpack sitting at 2-4. We got Goon Squad sitting at 1-2, and Mayhem at 1-4. Mayhem is our Gibbs team. They made a real run at it last year, once the season got running. So, look forward to seeing these guys. This is one of the divisions, this division, the youth division is one of those divisions that we're going to see a ton of growth, a ton of learning. So I look forward to it. I think it's going to be really fun. The stats are always fun to keep up with in these two younger divisions, just kind of see how these kids are doing it. Didn't have anything like this when we were growing up. So let's go ahead and move on into it. Check out the stats, see who the league leaders are going into week 3. Through 3 weeks of play, we've got a couple guys, it's kind of the same thing in this division. Hopefully we'll get everybody get their stats in. Some of these young teams are, coaches and parents are just figuring out how to get it in. If you didn't get them in on time, so we may be missing a few, but I think we've got most of them in. Let's go ahead and look into it, with our passing leaders, our quarterbacks in this JV division. You got 2 guys sitting at the top. We got Prime Times, Kel Fleming sitting at 12 touchdowns in first place. We got Code Blues, Jackson Byington at 10 touchdowns. Team Mayhem, Austin Miller at 6 touchdowns, and Kay Johnson with the Immortals at six touchdowns. We'll add some more of those guys on the list as we go. So coaches, please help us get those stats in. It's always fun for the kids. When we get to this, the skill guys, the go-getters, we got quite a few guys, big list. I'll shorten this list down as we go through the season, but right now we just got a tie for like 7-8 guys with 2 touchdowns. But I just wanted to get the names in early just in case they don't keep them going and don't get called out as we go. But right now we got Ajebion Stinson with 5 touchdowns with Primetime leading the way. We got Riley Miller with 4 touchdowns in Code Blue. Second place, you got Lane Standifer with 3 touchdowns with Mayhem. And then 2 touchdowns, we got a big tie with Jamison Justice, Zane Varney, Fears from Primetime, I got to get his first name, Dylan Freeman, Andrews from Primetime, Mason Ellis, Braxton Swift, Skylar Whitson, and Colton No. So we got quite a few guys scoring touchdowns in this division. We got 4 players tied at 1. Anybody can get it. Somebody have a big game. We got 3 games per week for these guys to get after it. But Stinson, he played a little bit last year. Was one of the top players in the league. So I'm sure, watching him get after it early, these other guys hopefully will be able to catch up and make it exciting. But let's look at our defensive leaders. We've got 3 guys with more than 1 interception in this JV division, which is good on the quarterback end, but defense needs to get after it. We got Riley Miller. He's been pretty dominant on both ends of the offense and defense for Code Blue. He's got 5 interceptions. We got the Immortals, Zane Varney with 3 interceptions, tied with Mayhem's Lane Stanifer with 3 interceptions. We also got 4 guys tied with 1. So, this is the fun part. I hope the boys enjoy seeing, where they're at. Going into week 3, got 6 weeks left. So let's pad the stats, get after it, catch some touchdowns, get some interceptions, and just have some fun. So let's look at it. Let's see who the players of the week are for this JV division. So moving on into the players of the week for the JV division, got a couple guys, had some big weeks. We're going to take it back to week 1. We got the Immortals, they're sitting at 6-0. Their quarterback, Kay Johnson, had a huge week 1, had 6 touchdowns. Led his team undefeated, start off that first week 3-0 into a fast start. So congratulations, Kay Johnson, Gunslinger of the week 1. When we get to Go-Getter of the week, sitting at the top of the list with 5 touchdowns, we got Ajavian Stinson with Primetime. He had 3 touchdowns in week 1 to get a fast start and get him at the top of the leaderboard. Zane Varney, the Immortals defensive back, 3 interceptions week 1, is a big reason for them being undefeated so far. They're playing great defense, but Zane Varney, ball hawk of the week 1. Moving into week 2, last week, we everybody got kind of moved back into 3 games. We got on a roll, some of the guys that have played before, kind of showing experience points right now and kind of leading in the stats, but, that's part of it, and that's going to be the fun part later in the season. But, Gunslinger of the week 2, we got Primetime's Kel Fleming. 9 touchdowns in week 2 is going to give him Gunslinger of the week. So congratulations, Kel Fleming. Go-Getter of the week, we really didn't have anybody set themselves apart. We had a bunch of ties at 2 touchdowns, so we're going to leave it at that. Ball hawk of the week, another guy that's making plays in the JV division for Code Blue is Riley Miller, offensively and defensively. Talked about him a little bit looking at the stat line, but player of the week. Ball hawk of the week 2, Code Blues, Riley Miller. He had 3 interceptions. The young guys, those guys that can move around and get after the ball are going to have a big season this year and going to help their team. So, JV division, big couple 2 weeks. Let's keep improving. Let's have fun with it. Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are playing the game right. So I look forward to seeing how you guys lead into week 3 and then into our tournament 2 weeks from now. when we get into there. So, let's move on into it. Let's look at our youth division. For me, to be honest with you, it's kind of exciting for this division. First off, it's our first year doing the youth division, but, it's just fun watching these kids throw and attempt to catch and intercept and all that fun stuff. I remember I started football my first year playing football. It was fourth and fifth grade. So, we're just at the basics of all that stuff. So to see these guys get out here in a structured environment, lining up, trying to read the plays, go get open, make big plays, make catches, make some stops on defense and defend and run. Just the whole game of 7-on-7 is super exciting watching these young 8 to 10 year olds play. I know they're going to get a lot of great experience. We've got a lot of good, feedback from the parents and the coaches. So, when that's happening, we know we're doing the right thing. And so I'm glad we got this division started. And you guys are going to have fun watching the highlights. So let's go ahead and check it out.
Infield.
Youth.
Yeah, that's what I'm
You don't say. Good. Uh-oh, going big. Oh! Something quick. Ah! All right, so we had some really good highlights from the young guys. Almost every catch is like an amazing catch, it seems like, at this age group. But, we got some skilled little ballers. If you saw the other weekly highlight clip, we got quite a few of the youth guys in there on that one also. But, we got some good talent, some good quality quarterbacks. We've got some guys that can catch, and they're learning to run routes. And, this is starting to become the fun part for these guys. But let's go ahead and look at our division. We got a handful of teams. We got 7 teams in this division right here. So, what we got at the top right now, we got a clear-cut team right now that's trying to take the division. You got the Vipers sitting at 5-0. We got Goon Squad 2 at 3-2. We got Ball Hawks tied at 3-2, and Goon Squad 1 at 3-2. So we got a nice little race right there at the middle. We also got the Kentucky Raptors. They're traveling down here to play with us this year. They're sitting at 3-3. We got the Thunderwolves at 1-4, and we got Code Blue at 0-5. So, we got a good mixture of teams. I think we got a good race. It looks like everybody's kind of beat everybody. Nobody's dominating except the Vipers. The Vipers have had a couple really close games, so it's going to take some guys to put a full game together to beat those guys. But that's going to be the fun in it. So looking at the league leaders after 2 weeks. We've got a handful of guys that are making some big plays. Some of their numbers are comparable to the other guys in the other divisions. So, offensively, let's go ahead and take a look at the quarterbacks. We got 2 guys sitting at the top right now. We got the Vipers, Tucker Garner, sitting with 14 touchdowns. You got Goon Squad 2's Maurice Garner with 13 touchdowns. You got 2 guys sitting there with 7 at Kentucky Raptors, Kason Harrell, and Ball Hawks, Jasper Diggs. Goon Squad 1's got 2 guys in there with Kendall Allen and Owen Hensley sitting with 5 touchdowns each. And the Thunderwolves, Brady Blanding has 4 touchdowns to finish off the quarterbacks in the youth division. Exciting times. Quarterback-wise in this division, it's not too good to get too high or too low on things right now. Everybody's learning. Whether you're throwing touchdowns or whether you're not, the experience is huge. And I know here in the next few weeks it's going to pay off. So I just look forward to seeing how all these guys continue to improve, learn, and, to continue, whipping the ball around. So let's look at the go-getters. We got a couple young guys right now that are making big plays. Excuse me. One, sitting there with the Vipers, sitting at number 1 at quarterback and go-getter. Christian Frazier's got 6 touchdowns so far going into week 3. You got a couple guys tied at 2. You got Khalil Mills and Colton Ferris with 4 touchdowns at second place. Then we got a handful, Cortland Bullard, Ahmad Stinson, Spatez, got to get your first name, Christian Neal, and Nicholas Fletcher tied with 3 touchdowns at third place. And then we've got 5 players tied with 2 touchdowns and 10 players tied with 1. And I always keep up with this stuff. And when you look at it right now, that's 10, 15, a little over 20-some players in this youth division that's catching touchdowns. And to me, that's huge. We didn't have any last year, so, we're 20 some odd ahead from we were last year. So I'm hoping that, this will help improve, the game for these youth players and the kids at this age group right now, where it's not such a, if you throw an incompletion or an interception in a game, it could be a great big turnover and cost you the game. But this is an opportunity for these kids to learn, practice, and just get plenty of reps. Now, in this division, we do have quite a more turnovers. So our ball hawks are getting after it. Quarterbacks throwing the ball up, but hey, that's part of it, and that's why we're doing it. So, let's look at who our defensive leaders are for the youth division. So far, we've got 2 guys sitting at the top. You got Goon Squad 2's Ahmad Stinson with three interceptions, and Goon Squad 1's Damari Smith with 3 interceptions. We got a handful of guys at 2. We got Henry Diggs, Ethan Ivins, Jace Hawkins, Christian Frazier, Parker Dummett, Luke Wilkerson, and Anthony Matthews Jr. all have 2 interceptions. We got 8 players tied with 1 interception. So, we got the most interceptions in this division, but that's what's expected. So, no big deal. Let's go ahead and move in and see who the players of the week are. All right, so moving into players of the week for our youth division, we're going to hit week 1 first. So let's talk week 1. You got Tucker Garner with the Vipers off to a fast start, undefeated. Week 1, 7 touchdowns, 2-0. Looked smooth. Continued in week 2. So Gunslinger of the Week for our youth division, week 1, Tucker Garner from the Vipers. Congratulations. Go-Getter of the Week. We didn't have anybody set themselves apart in week 1. Everybody only played 2 games, so we kind of had a tie there. So we're going to cancel out week 1's Go-Getter of the Week. So moving on to Ball Hawk of the Week, we got Damari Smith from Goon Squad 1. Big first week, 3 interceptions. Leading the division. He's worked his way up there in the stats when it comes to the league leaders also. So Ball Hawk of the Week, week 1, Damari Smith, Goon Squad 1. Week 2 had some more big plays, a lot more statistics. Everybody had 3 games, so the guys got to stack it up a little bit more. So, we had a really big game, scored a ton of points. I think it's over 50 points. Might have been a record, when it comes to the Gridiron League and just scoring points per game. But Goon Squad 2, Maurice Garner, 13 touchdowns in week 2. I think they had 54 points in 1 game. Really got after it. So, Gunslinger of the Week, Goon Squad 2's Maurice Garner. Congratulations, Gunslinger of the Week. When we get to Go-Getter of the Week for this youth division in week 2, the Vipers, 5 touchdowns receiving. Christian Frazier, with the youth team with the Vipers sitting at 5-0. He seems to be their guy that they're going to go try to complete the ball to, get the ball out to. Seems to be their playmaker. So 5 touchdowns for the Vipers. Christian Frazier, Go-Getter of the Week. Congratulations. Week 2's Ball Hawk Player of the Week. Another big stat line. 3 interceptions for week 2. It's hard to get 3 picks, so, he's got to be covering the field. But, it's Goon Squad 2, Ahmad Stinson, 3 interceptions in week 2 is going to give him the Ball Hawk of the Week. Hopefully you guys have had some fun, enjoyed watching these little guys play ball the past couple weeks. We'll continue to improve, on our end or whatever we need to do to make this, consistently, just better and better week in and week out. We got 2 good weeks in. If you made it this long through the podcast, first and foremost, I'd really like to say, everybody's done their part. The coaches, the players. We've had a few little arguments here and there over some calls on this and that, but overall, we've not had any skirmishes, no fights, and all that stuff. And to me, that's our biggest deal. That's the one thing we're trying to eliminate. That's why we put the rules in with the press coverage and the celebration rules and things of that nature. Is we're just trying to keep this a clean game, keep it consistent to where we can show up each and every week and know that we're going to be in a safe environment, and all that good stuff. So the one thing I will ask, parents. Hey, we love you. We need you. You've got to be there, to watch your kids and everything. But please, hey, if there's a bad call, maybe it's just a blatantly missed call and everybody else saw it, the ref didn't see it, they don't call the flag, or maybe they make a call that you just don't agree with. Guys, we just got to drop it. We got to move on. Never, ever is there a call changed because of an argument with a fan, a parent, or a player. So we've got to understand the things we can change, the things we can't, we just got to roll with. So if we can continue to do that, I think we'll continue to have good weeks of play, and I think your boys and you guys, families and friends and all that should have a great experience. We got the live feed going on, so we definitely don't want to be on TV, I guess you could say, a live feed out there, acting a fool like some of these other guys do with 7-on-7. So let's have class, let's win with class, let's lose with class, let's just play with class, and other than that, I really appreciate you. Week 3 is 2 days away. Hopefully the rain stays cleared out. We'll be able to keep all 6 fields going. We'll be at Clinton High School. We'll be at the high school field, the game field, and then either a couple of the grass fields or one of the other high school stadiums. So schedule should be out. Look forward to week 3. Parents, coaches, get your stats in. Hopefully you're a little bit better with that each week. And other than that, let's just have some fun. And I'll see you Sunday.